This video contains information that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are a viewer and are triggered or shocked by images and need a warning prior to every clip or story being discussed, then please unsubscribe from my channel immediately. My channel covers the harsh reality of even the worst crimes imaginable and is for adults only. For those of you who fit into this category, take this message as your warning and don't watch any further.
On the screen, there's way too much stuff going on your screen.
Well, too bad. Well, how's it going, everybody? Yeah. So my wife's about to go pick me up some more medicine. Yeah, so the update on my physical shit is I have a little bit better range of motion today, except the thing that's bothering me is my upper breast muscle here, whatever the hell, I forgot what you call it, and then my wrist. See, here's what's weird. Look at, like, here's my wrist, right? It's hard to hold up my hand like this because this muscle here doesn't work. But I can hold it up to about right there. But I can't, just a little pushing, I can't turn it back up again. You know, like this hand, you know, I can go like that, you know. But this one, just barely touching it, it's really hard to move it. It's just, but hopefully it'll get better at some point. Yeah, pectoral muscle, yeah. Yeah, right up there. It gets kind of quivery when I go high. But I think things seem to be getting better. I'm gonna get a couple more days of steroids because it seems to be working. Taper it down a little bit, but so there you go. All right, weeks or months, I was told. Yeah, it's not gonna be speedy. Crazy. Yeah, so the case that we've been talking about just for the last day is Sydney Sutherland, and they found her body earlier today. I put a post in the community section. First they found a body, then they identified the body, then they made an arrest later, and they arrested an individual named Quake Llewellyn. And if you look at this image right here, you know, they spell Llewellyn wrong. There's a Y at the end. Hey, Blue. There's a Y in here. So it should be Lewellyn. And right here it says homicide, capital murder. Okay, so that doesn't mean it's an accident. See, there's people out there that think it was an accident, like, oh boy, he was driving by and hit her, and then he panicked, and then buried her body, okay? That didn't happen. They wouldn't have arrested him for capital murder. They would have put homicide or some shit like that, just homicide and undetermined or something, if they weren't sure yet. Well, it's obvious. I mean, it's not even, you know, listen. If you're gonna if somebody kills somebody on accident and you bury their body, then you did something wrong originally. Because if it's an accident, almost nobody would not say anything. It kind of reminds you of the meth people who say they're doing drugs together, And then the other person in the house dies from the drug, and then they panic and then chop their body ups into bits and then put them into bags and throw them around the city because they didn't want to get in trouble. Okay? So there you go. Yeah, Blue and Chloe are going nuts. They didn't wrestle all day except right when the show starts. Yeah, so we've got, here's his Facebook page, Quake here. Blue. Yeah, so it looks like, I don't know how old, I mean, some of these posts are just from July in here. And let's see. I don't know if this is him right here.
Of keeping your
I don't know if it's him or not.
went out in nature.
Oh, jeez. That was kind of funny. That's not him. Yeah, but it's this guy right here in this picture. Right here. And it kind of matches the image that was... Where the hell was that? Hold on a second. Yeah, so you can see him right back here. He's got a beard and glasses and everything. And they still hadn't named him, I don't think. Let me see. His name got out. Everybody, yeah, like the sheriff even knew this guy. And he knew her. You know, because it's a small town. So how about we start off, we'll listen to the press conference here. Okay, then we'll move into the Golden State Killer. It was a crazy day in that one. And by the way, in the Golden State Killer case, he got up at the end and said he apologized, and he sounded absolutely normal. You could actually hear his normal voice, what he sounds like, instead of that bullshit he was trying to sell. Plus, there was a video that came out that the sheriff took of him in his prison cell, basically looking like a gymnast, jumping up on the beds and doing all kinds of crap. I mean, the guy definitely was full of crap. Okay? It was awesome. So anyways, here we go. There's the sheriff here.
You know, you ought to feel privileged. You're only the second female other than my wife that's dressed me.
And don't forget, we're still raising money for the end of the month. Blue.
Alright. Would you like us to start?
Well, everybody knew that
Yeah,
the wheelchair was
you
a
can
prop.
start.
Okay, nobody thought it wasn't.
If you want.
It's just funny to actually prove it. Okay, they even show him going into his cell with a cane, and then he just puts it down, and he starts climbing up like he probably used to do when he would go into the houses and burglarize and rape people. Here, hold on a second. I gotta show you guys what Blue and Chloe, they're just... I don't know if you can see them over there. Wait, what are you guys doing? Oh. Thanks, Cairo and Kit Kat. Here we go.
Either that or I can start it off if you want me to. I don't care.
Just to confirm, you just arrived with someone.
Yes.
Is this you
Yes.
have someone in custody?
What I will tell you is that
Thanks, Bozo.
at approximately 2 o'clock this afternoon, we did discover the body of a female believed to be Sydney. The body's been sent to the state crime lab for identification, and we do have a suspect in custody at this time. However, I can't release the name until he's formally charged.
Woman surfing, woman surfing, woman surfing.
Yeah. Who knows? There's been waves on everyone. Hey, thanks, Christina Kubitschek and Miss Good.
All of the
for
I
treats
feel
for
bad
Boo
for
and
this
nothing
sheriff.
else.
It's like a small town deal. He knew both of the people, or at least knew her and him. But you can tell he's got a lot of stuff on his mind. Oh yeah, you can't see. Hold on.
Gray, you're the best growing heart.
I switched to show you guys Blue and Chloe.
Yeah, you can start if you want.
Treats for
Either that, or I
Chloe.
can start it off if you want me to. I don't care.
Just to confirm, you just arrived with someone.
Yes.
Is this you
Yes.
have someone in custody?
What I will tell you is that at approximately 2 o'clock this afternoon, we did discover the body of a female believed to be Sydney. The body has been sent to the state crime lab for identification, and we do have a suspect in custody at this time. However, I can't release the name until he's formally charged. All of the I just really want to commend all of the officers that were out there, all the agencies, Arkansas Game and Fish, Arkansas State Police, FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, Truman PD, Jonesboro PD, Jackson County Sheriff's Department, every one of the agencies that was out.
Thanks, Liz Parson. Oh, by the way, in the Allison Watterson case for my, the podcast that I'm doing, 3 Minute of Mystery with Lorden and Morph, we interviewed the PI. He's a pretty cool dude. So that went pretty good. So look forward to that in the future.
There, I know I'm probably forgetting some. Everyone did a phenomenal job in this case, but I would also like to add that all of the volunteers that came out, I told them this afternoon when I met with them, that I let them know, that their efforts weren't in vain, that it was because of them that assisted us in this case, which is still ongoing. So a lot of...
Yeah, I'm surprised I look mildly normal, Carolina T, I mean. It's like, but the thing is that my neck really is in a lot of sharp pain, right, at times. And I'm just I just want to be able to grip something again. It feels like it's getting better, though. It's just really frustrating that a non-surgical thing is what's causing me the problems.
Stuff I can't confirm or release at this time, but I can confirm that a body was discovered about 2 o'clock of a female. It is believed to be Sydney Sutherland, and it's been sent to the crime lab.
And can confirm that you have someone in custody?
Yes, I will confirm that we do have a suspect in custody at this time, but I can't release his name until formal charges are filed.
I don't mean to press you, Sheriff, but you just arrived. Did you arrive with that person that you have in custody?
Yes, I did.
The person that you have in custody, source was telling me that this person is familiar to Sydney somehow, that they may have known each other in some fashion.
Yes.
Was this person a volunteer at any point during the search process?
No.
Is this person
Not to my...
See, I heard he was by somebody that was emailing me. And thanks everybody for emailing me updates, even though almost all of them were duplicates of what somebody else already sent.
My knowledge.
Is this person a resident of Jackson County?
No, he is not.
Is he a farmer?
Yes.
Well, here's something that's interesting, just to switch over to this. See, this is her boyfriend, Alex Nicholson here, because there's a picture of them together, right? And then if you go over to his friends list, and then you type in, well, there's Michael Llewellyn right there. And there he is right there. So Quake is one of Alex's friends. Okay? So he's a farmer from somewhere. Now here's the thing: is when you look at the map, they're from this town over here called Jonesboro, and then I found this little area where like his main relatives all live right, boom, boom, boom. So they may have lived here, but what's interesting about that is, remember, this is the town that that Sydney was at a gym at earlier. So you look at that, and it goes right through there, and I don't know if he knew she was going to be there and then followed her, knew her routine or whatever. And then they also have video footage where they're right here with, and the police are blocking this road right here. So this is what I'm predicting right here, is that on this road right here, they're blocking this road, and I think this might be where the cell phone was. I was thinking it was over here, but maybe the cell phone was right there. And they lived right there. Cell phone here. She was just about to get maybe home again or something. And then they're blocking off this road. And I think that if you go down here, if you look, the road actually starts turning like this. And then I think she was put somewhere in this wooded area back here somewhere. Okay? That's my just opinion based off of just looking at the area. Okay, don't quote me or say, oh yeah, that's where, I don't know.
The rumor mill is going absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah.
The rumor right now is that this could be a farmer who...
Yeah, you keep hearing that, but it's total bullshit. Okay? They wouldn't have charged him with capital murder if that's what he did.
Accidentally
That's what he
hit
claimed
her
he did.
and panicked. Obviously, you guys have interviewed him in some capacity. Is that what you're hearing from him?
As I said
No, it's not his property.
a while ago, we do have a suspect in
There's
custody.
a lot of false information that was going around. Oh, he was found on his farm. He was found here. And he was, it's not.
The investigation is still ongoing. I can't release any of the details at this time.
Was there any apparent trauma at all to the body
Hey,
that
Karen Cruz.
signaled that arrest?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that right now.
Are you able to at least discuss maybe when we could possibly see the suspect in court for a probable cause?
I've not been given information as far as when he will be taken for a bond and arraignment at this point. It may be as soon as Monday.
Capital murder probably indicates that there was sexual attack or it was completely planned. Okay? That's a death penalty type thing. So this isn't somebody that hit somebody with a car. Okay? So quit talking about that.
But I don't know at this point because I've still got to meet with prosecutors and finalize everything.
And just to be clear, you guys will be the lead.
Arkansas State Police has took the lead in the case. It's basically a joint effort between my department and Arkansas State Police. As far as the investigation itself, Arkansas State Police has processed the evidence and taken all that stuff, yes.
Are you able to confirm where her body is found?
I think originally he started talking about, I hit her with a car. He was trying to make up a reason why she was out there. But then he probably realized, based on how her body's going to be found, maybe it's missing clothing items, perhaps some other, strangulation marks, and then he won't be able to explain that, so he may have changed it later and said, I just snapped, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but he got charged with capital murder.
It was found in an area north of the residence, and that's all I can say right now.
Well, I don't know why you can barely hear me. That's on your end, not mine.
What charges are you going to be requesting from the prosecutor?
At that point, I don't know. I have to get with them. Okay.
Do you know what charges the suspect's being held on now?
He's been booked in on homicide.
Homicide.
Yeah.
Murder first, murder second.
I've not got that from the prosecutors yet.
But it's going to be some kind of homicide.
Yes.
So, from the time that the body was found, and you said that was...
That was around 2 o'clock this afternoon.
When was this, and can you confirm it's a man?
Yes, it is a male.
how soon was it from the time the body was found to an arrest?
I really can't say that because I was not down there. I was in Grubbs at the scene. There was multiple things going on at the same time. So as far as the interview, I don't have any details of that, and as far as what was said, when it was said, or anything like that.
Was he arrested at the location where the body was found?
No, he was not.
Where was he arrested?
Once the interview was complete, he was going ahead. We went ahead and took him into custody.
So
where was the interview conducted?
Arkansas State Police Headquarters here in Newport.
Did he just come to the ASP building, or how did?
I can't confirm that.
Okay. Did he confess? That's a rumor that he confessed to doing some kind of harm. Can you confirm that?
I can't elaborate on that. No.
So how does that, all these rumors, how does that impact your case?
It makes it tough sometimes, simply because.
Hey, Billy Boy Blue. Yeah, people have missed you around here, Billy Boy Blue. They always say, "Where's Billy Boy Blue?" Oh, here we go. I gotta have this one play.
Been too long. Gotta bring it back. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider, sat down beside her. He said, "Hey, what's in the bowl, Beach?"
So you gotta admit, that's a good one there.
All the rumors that are going around,
Billy Boy
when the rumors start hitting, our phones start ringing, and it hinders us.
Jack and Jill went up the hill each with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50. Ooh!
Quite a bit. It don't really hinder us, but it slows us down some.
Something that you told me yesterday is, hey, I'm the sheriff of this county, and this case is personal to me because not only do I know this young lady, my daughters went to school with her. Although he's not a resident of Jackson County, do you know this man as well?
Yes, I do.
Any personal connection?
No.
So, and this is something that we, of course, got video of. I think they got video of. You took them into custody here, brought them into your building.
Yes.
Is that normal procedure, or was this something that you wanted to see?
This is a small town. We're a small agency. Yeah, I'm the sheriff, but I work right alongside my guys. You know, we all do our part. We all pitch in together to get a job done.
Is there any evidence showing that at this point Sydney was kidnapped, abducted? Is he going to be facing any of those kind of charges?
I can't elaborate on details of the case because it's still under investigation at this point.
And I think you are possibly going to...
I mean, one thing that's interesting is that they said that there was no indication that the car hit her, but because they found the phone there. But then how did she end up? I mean, he knows her, I believe. And I don't know if he had her get in how he got her into the car. Did he get out of his car and grab her, put her into his car, bring her over there? I mean, who knows? It's going to be interesting to figure out what the details are. I can't imagine an incident where he drove up and hit her with his car so he could then go have I mean, you would mangle somebody doing that. It just doesn't make any sense, that angle. I think he just threw that out there as a quick first story. And then they say, well, I know that you told us that, sir, but we noticed that, and then they listed things, and he goes, okay, well, here's what, he probably still hasn't told the exact truth yet, but it's enough to give him capital murder.
Respond the same with this question. Yesterday you said...
Well, they know what they have, so they're going to do that. They can probably tell that she was sexually assaulted, and she's dead, and they know he did it. Wouldn't that be the easiest way to determine that she's sexually assaulted, her body was buried, he admits to doing it, so immediately it's capital murder right then. There's no doubt or waiting around.
For lack of evidence, we do not believe that she was hit. Is that... Say we do not believe. Do you change that today, or...
I can't elaborate.
Does it still show that she may not have been hit by a car? Is that now under investigation?
That's all part of the investigation, yes.
And then, do we have a timeline about results from the autopsy from...
Not at this point, we don't.
Is there anything out at the crime scene that would give you guys an idea of when she died?
There again, that's all still part of the investigation, and I can't discuss that at this point.
Her phone. Can you kind of give a proximity from where her phone?
I don't know if she was sexually assaulted. I'm just saying that's what my prediction is, because that's how they know so quickly. Or she was strangled, or something that was really obvious that she was murdered. Okay.
Was found to where her body was found.
I mean, didn't you listen to the way I worded that 50 different times? So when you do stuff like that, it's, oh, did you hear what Gray said that she was? I didn't say that. That's what I'm saying is possible. Just try to pay attention.
No, sir.
Can you say, for those who don't know, I guess this area was it farmland where she was found?
It's a rural area of the county, yes. Yeah.
So county roads 41 and 49 were closed today. Could you elaborate, I guess, just about the reason why they were closed? We've been hearing that there was a bracelet that was potentially found.
We locked down that entire area. Everything was combed for evidence. As far as what evidence was discovered and where, I can't really elaborate. But the whole area, we shut it down and locked it down.
Oh yeah, by the way, thank you all to everybody who's on Patreon. I know I don't mention you guys a lot, but I really appreciate it. I know some people have had to leave it because of COVID and job situations, but I appreciate everybody who supported me on there.
So that we didn't have any traffic coming through, to allow the officers the opportunity to do their job properly. That's why it was all shut down.
Are you able to, and I may have already asked this, and if I did, I apologize. What led you guys to this person that you now have in custody?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that.
Anything else?
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
He's not a resident of Jackson County. Does he have family here in Jackson County?
I'm not sure if he does now or not, honestly.
His name is Quake Llewellyn, as we've showed 10 times already.
You won't be able to disclose how you know him personally?
No.
Do you know where he's a resident from?
Jonesboro.
Jonesboro.
Yeah.
Is he in this area frequently?
I can't discuss that.
Well, he's friends with the boyfriend.
Do you know how old he is?
25.
You already got that?
But you can confirm that there was. Can you confirm that there was some kind of evidence there at the scene or to Sydney that has led to these homicide charges?
No, I can't confirm that right now.
Okay.
I can't discuss that. That's all still in investigation.
Giving you guys those homicide charges?
Yes.
Okay. What do you want people to know? I mean, this is freaking people out.
Yeah, I just want them to know that this was a very tragic case.
They think if they just word it the right way, they'll trick him and it'll give him an answer.
It's not something that happens here in Jackson County, and I just want them to know that everybody around here, as far as law enforcement, they love their job, they love their community, and they do everything in their power to
The difference between Patreon and channel members is that Patreon, the thing is the money, when it's on YouTube, I only get 70% of any monies, super chats or channel memberships. So on there, it's really just you're supporting me, and I try to make posts every once in a while, but I'm honest. I'm telling you, I don't really have a lot of time to do all the little perks and everything all the time. You get the same discounts and everything that people get on channel memberships. My show takes up so much of my time that I don't have time to make like extra side videos and things like that. Okay, so hopefully you guys just appreciate the 2 to 3 hours a night that I do every single day of the month, other than when I'm having surgery.
Keep everyone safe, and unfortunately, when things happen such as this, everybody works tirelessly to resolve a case, to give closure, and the community itself. They really step up and try to help us. It's amazing how much love is in a community when something tragic happens and they just start coming out wanting to help. And that's what Jackson County is, you know. It's just like when Jonesboro had the hurricane or the tornado. Everybody started coming out. And it's not just Jackson County, folks. It's the adjoining counties, you know, all of northeast Arkansas, and really Arkansas in general. That's just the way we are. That's the love we have. And I just want them to know that I, myself, as the sheriff of the county, I love them and I appreciate everything they've done to help us.
I don't know what's wrong with Sarah's audio, but yeah, I did see your earlier post. I referred to it. Yeah, his audio is pretty loud. I can turn, let's see. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, can't you guys hear me clearly? I don't know why hers is different than everybody else.
Can you talk about the man hours? How many man hours went in? I'm assuming this dates back all the way to
I'm just going through the pain there. Carolina T, going through the pain. There's a sharp pain every once in a while. It comes through the back.
Wednesday night.
It goes all the way back to Wednesday afternoon, and we're not done yet, so the man hours are still ticking.
Is that still a crime scene out there?
We have released the area at this time. It's the officers have already finished up processing the scene, so we have released it.
So what happens next?
Thanks, Tracy. And thanks, Demi Ray. You guys are... Listen. That's why I always put this out there. Because you guys are the generous freaks. Okay? That's why, again, we've donated $10,600 so far this year to crime-related charities.
The investigation continues. You know, it don't stop. It don't stop until the case is adjudicated. You know, so we've still got a lot of work to do, and we're going to get it done.
Are you guys going to be looking at any of the social media?
Hello, David.
I can't elaborate on that.
So we will be waiting on the prosecutor when it comes to official charges, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he's been booked in.
He's been booked in on homicide.
On homicide.
Yes.
And just to confirm, just to make sure we're on the same page, the prosecutor for this area.
Henry Boyce.
And so are you going to be talking with the prosecutor here, I guess, shortly after we get done to figure out what murder charge that's...
Yeah, we'll be talking with the prosecutors we talk to them throughout this whole investigation, and then once everything's done, we will be sitting down with them and discussing where we go from here. Go ahead.
Well, unfortunately, I have to mention with Henry Boyce being the prosecutor, he's also working another big case.
Thank you, Carolina T and Michelle Nicholas.
The support that he may need. Like you said, Jackson County is very tight-knit, but this is not the first large case coming out of this area.
No, this is not.
So this is definitely a hurtful thing, and with Boyce being on both, do you have any concerns?
No, I do not. I do not. The prosecutor, Mr. Boyce, and his team, in my opinion, they're top-notch. They're very good at what they do. I have every confidence in them.
Sheriff, I kind of asked you this yesterday about the emotional toll. If you knew Sydney and Weatherford was was definitely close to your heart as well. How are you holding on right now?
I'm all right. It's a job. I do my job.
You know, I think this is why people like small town people so much. Because you see how emotional this guy is? And he just seems like what a great sheriff, like, to have in your town, okay? Now, you get in the big cities, you got a bunch of idiots, okay? But this guy right here, you know, that's exactly the guy. Look, I mean, he knew the people. Kind of reminds you of the guy, the one in Florida that we love so much. I always forget his name, but every time I see him, I love the guy.
A time to reflect once the job's done. Okay, that it? All right.
Yeah, great.
I've got to get.
So there's that, and then let's get some of these. So here's an article with his name, Quake Llewellyn, 8/21/20, 6:43 p.m. Capital murder. So, I mean, it's capital murder, everybody. It doesn't mean he accidentally hit somebody and buried her body. Okay? That doesn't happen. They wouldn't have made that original charge. They would have upgraded it later to capital murder, but they had enough evidence already to make it that, which is crazy.
Breaking news right now. In just the past few minutes, we obtained new information in the Sydney Sutherland case. Katie Woodall live in the newsroom tonight with what our team has just confirmed. Katie.
Amanda, those close to Sydney confirming just a few minutes ago that the body discovered today was hers. This is coming from Sydney's boyfriend's parents. They said the family was told the body discovered today was Sydney's. They also said an arrest has been made in this case.
Probably
now,
obsessed
we are
with
working
her.
to get official confirmation from Sheriff David Lucas, but he has not released new information since this afternoon when that body was discovered. Again, this is from Sydney's boyfriend's parents. They've taken to social
People say she was found buried. I guess we don't really have that information.
media to let those following this case know that it was Sydney's body found today. And an arrest was made. Logan Whaley is on the scene at the family's home. He says the sheriff's office has shown back up and is talking with people, but no other information right now. We are on the phones pushing for answers. For now, live in the newsroom, Katie Woodall, Region 8 News.
Man, you guys are so obsessed with his last name. It's Llewellyn, okay? Jesus. No, it's not. That's not his first name. Yeah. It's Llewellyn. Okay, did you get that time? Llewellyn. That's Llewellyn. And for those hard of hearing, it's Quake Llewellyn, as in Quake like the video game, and Llewellyn, or Quake like the earthquake. We just don't know, but it's Quake Llewellyn. Quake, and then Llewellyn, as in Quake, Llewellyn. And if you didn't hear it after that, get the hell out of here.
Breaking news right.
All right, let's see. I think this is the other one here. Thanks, Crystal Ann.
Thank you for being so committed and all you do, Gray. It's greatly appreciated.
I'm saying that you obviously can't understand, Caleb. You just can't understand it, buddy. You have to get smarter, buddy.
Authorities here in Jackson County, just not too far away from where we stand tonight. Let me show you
Allison R.
some information that we got just a few moments ago, and that's going to be with the sheriff of Jackson County. He confirms that a suspect is in custody at this hour. I want to show you a photo of the suspect here. This is the suspect, a still frame of the video we captured. You see him getting out of the vehicle.
See, there he is right there.
That's
You
actually
can see
the
him.
sheriff's truck.
That's the same guy.
And you see him in front of, behind that Arkansas State Trooper. I mean, if he was in front of the state trooper, but in this photo, it's behind. He was getting out of the vehicle there as he was walking behind me into the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff not confirming at this hour the name of the suspect. A lot of information circulating on social media tonight. We see what you guys are sending us, but we are unable to confirm at this hour who this person is, other than he is believed to have some kind of acquaintance with Sydney Sutherland. We know that they are familiar
Facebook
with each
friends
other.
with her boyfriend.
Let me play a very short sound bite just moments ago from the sheriff up here.
We locked down that entire area. Everything was combed.
This is Quake Llewellyn here, right?
As far as
you go to his friends,
what evidence was discovered and
here.
where, I can't really elaborate.
Type in Alex.
But the whole area, we shut it down and locked it down.
And that's a injury shit. And that's the boy. Look at right there. Boom. And there she is. So he's actually a friend of, or at least a Facebook friend of Alex.
Ago, outside the steps here at the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, you're looking at a photo of 25-year-old Sydney
And given the fact that they live in a
producer
small town, most people know each other, so they're probably actually friends, since they all live within a pretty close radius.
Sarah, back in our newsroom, monitoring your comments. While you all ask questions, there's so many questions surrounding this case. One of the questions is, did he confess? And that was actually a question.
Okay, so they were like,
asked authorities.
They'd go out on double dates and shit.
According to the Jackson County Sheriff, that part is under investigation. He won't release that just yet. We've also asked about some of the rumors circulating on social media. He won't comment on anything like that, other than saying that this is a very fluid case and that they're right in the thick of the investigation. You're looking at a photo of Sydney Sutherland on the right-hand side of your screen while we broadcast live out here from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Sydney Sutherland disappeared earlier this week on Wednesday as she was jogging on Highway 18 in between Newport and Grubbs.
I've already shown you guys the pictures.
41.
There, look, here's another one.
According to the sheriff, her body was found just north of her residence. Just north of her residence. Port and Grubb appeared earlier this week on Wednesday as she was jogging on Highway 18.
Okay, here's Quake Llewellyn's page here. And I don't know who this person is, but he's definitely got, looks like he's got a family, maybe. I don't know for sure. Those could be just friends or whatever. But it looks like he's got a significant other. There's a ring on her finger with a diamond on it. Okay, so, let me see that one picture. Hold on. Okay, that's... yeah, so I don't know if there's going to be pictures of him in here with her, or I don't know. But anyways, that's him, okay?
In between Newport and Grubbs, last seen on County Road 41. According to the sheriff, her body was found just north of her residence.
Yeah, so this is what I have here. We found out on the show yesterday that her residence is right in this area, and her body was found just north of the residence. But it was actually, the road that's closed off is on the north-hand side of 67, and this road here was closed off, okay? So using that road, that's how you would access wherever they were. So you got to go down this road like this. Okay, this is what I'm going to tell you is where I think her body was. If you look on the freeway, there's no way in hell he would have put her out here. Drives down this road, takes this little turn here. Now watch what we start getting into up here. And then boom. I'm putting a little pin here that she was found somewhere behind all of this, Because look at that. Look at this right here. This is basically like the inside of a volcano in a way. Like there's walls around the entire area. As soon as you get inside here, there isn't a soul that can see you unless there's a worker there from outside. And look at that. The only opening's right there. You get what I'm saying? So it looks like you would just drive into here. He could do whatever he wanted. And then barrier. And just look at that. It's crazy. And that's what makes sense to me. And that is just north of the house. Okay? Right in that area. Alright, so that's what I'm going to guess. So don't hold me to it. I'm just saying, based on what the map looks like and what we do on the channel a lot, that's what I'm thinking. Because there's no other roads to go off of. You would just stay on there, you know, go down there, but there's nothing there. There's nowhere to hide. See, let me show you what it looks like. So you're off the freeway here, and if you were driving by, you might notice something because that's just a wide open field. But look way back there. Those trees get high, and that's exactly where that road leads back into here. See. All right, so hopefully that makes sense to everybody. We'll have to wait and see exactly where. And this isn't even a house right here. It's just some crazy farm stuff. So I guess technically it could have been back in here too, just near this little farm area. But it seems like if you wanted to get really safe, you would come back here, because if you look around, you know, this is it's like an oasis, or a, what do you call it? An atoll in the ocean. You ever seen those? An atoll where it has land going around and the inside is water. Well, this one's trees around and then fields in the middle. Yeah. So there you go, everybody. That's where we're at on that case. Does anybody have anything that they wanted to talk about regarding that? Because I'm going to move to a different. I'm moving on to the Golden State Killer now. Yeah, I don't have any inside information on who he was or anything like that. Okay, so in the next couple days, I'm sure we'll get more information. We'll fill it in. We'll put the puzzle pieces together and get the story told. And we'll figure it out before it's actually figured out. Yeah, that's crazy, B&B. We're actually talking about one of yours, just like I did the Allison Watterson right in my area. Yeah, he's all over Google now. He's, you know, there isn't really a ton of information on him. You know, I think it's just that he's friends. He probably was obsessed with her somehow, and tracked her down. Knew what her routine was. Okay, now you guys want to see the video of the Golden State Killer? Remember the guy that was like this? How do you plead? Remember I was making fun of him? Remember how I was making fun of him at the time? Because he was full of shit. Okay, because we all remember this. When he was arrested, the Golden State Killer, D'Angelo, he was cooking a steak and he had just gotten off his motorcycle, swerving down the highway, avoiding being detected. Okay, and now when you watch this, you can see exactly how he was doing that. Because now look at him. When he's not in a wheelchair looking like Captain Christopher Pike on the original Star Trek. And just so you know what I'm talking about, I'll type it in. Okay, for those of you who don't know, there we go. There we go. I mean, it's like the perfect, look at this. He's in this little machine. And he can barely talk. He's got these things hooked up to him. Yeah, like this is probably a better picture of him. Right here. Like, so that was Captain Christopher Pike from the original Star Trek series. Okay? So that's what he was going for, D'Angelo. He probably, if you think about it, it was just after the Star Trek era. He probably had that in his mind and said, hey, well, maybe I'll pull a good old Captain Christopher Pike on him. Okay, anyways. Thanks, Cody Boulier. So here he is, man. Boy, he just looks really... Oh, wow. Look at him. Goes up there just like he used to do when he'd climb the fences, everybody. Unbelievable. Hey, look at, he's up there. He's like cleaning the filters or something on top, or whatever he's doing. I don't know what those are, little things he built to put on top of the lights to make it so it wasn't dark in there, or filters, or... I mean, look at this guy. He's a freaking gymnast. Oh, it's awesome. Man. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Look at, you know what's crazy is they actually blur out the toilet. As if this guy's going to leave logs sitting in the toilet. Really? Not sure what the weird lighting effect. But look at, yeah, hell, he's doing calisthenics for God's sakes. This is the guy that was on the... Yeah, he's about as fit as you can get for that age. If you can climb up crap like he was just doing, hell, I can't even do that. Yeah, he seems like he's a OCD kind of guy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get people to laugh a little bit tonight. If I can't laugh, you're going to, for God's sakes. You know, let me get some appropriate music for this. What do we got here? Joseph D'Angelo. A man barely alive. Oh wait, look at him fake. Look how he got in there with his cane, knowing they're still looking at him. He's hobbling. Oh, and then he just... D'Angelo. The whack job. Lunatic. Look at that. Somehow people are delivering groceries to this guy. What are in those bags? A lifetime supply of dog repellent. What will he use it in prison for? Nothing, but it was a joke that they sent into him. Thanks, Chrissy Paradis and Zozo.
Jane Fonda routine.
Look at him doing right now. He's doing what he probably used to do. He's looking out the windows, you know, stalking the people there. Thanks, Miss Gus and Zozo again. Audio Cast Me Norse's Rock. Yeah, look at him up there. He's like checking the... he's probably nervous about COVID. Lightness till dawn. I wanted to know what he was doing here. See, he put this down. He was going to do something with it. Like, what was he going to be doing? Like sidekicks and shit?
Great tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy.
See, like, he's getting ready to do something, and then they cut away. Yeah. Oh, man, he was about ready to... Look at this guy. Look at him. Boom. It's like a freaking mountain climber. Da-da-da-da. How about this music? Is this better for him? Baby Elephant Walk would probably be better. There we go. Oh yeah. Hey! Look at how we can get up there. Yeah! We need to make a a dance thing with DiMaggio instead of Lori, right? Oh yeah, have him doing like moonwalking and shit. Put him orange jumpsuit on. Oh yeah. I don't know what he's just cleaning shit. Oh, thanks, Chrissy Paradis, KNS, Audio Caspi now, Horses Rock, and Miss Good.
Wave woman surfing.
Notice how he's limping when he's out here, like, oh, I can barely make it, I can barely make it. Oh, and he's got a little Captain Christopher Pike wheelchair over there. Oh yeah. Here we go. Look at him. Look at him. He's incredible, everybody. Hey everybody, it's James DiMaggio, the Whack Job. Look at him doing lunges even. Cleaning the floor with his foot. Only a spry person like a Spider-Man, right, NH? Could do something like that. Wow, he's incredible. Thanks, Kit Kat. Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Always ready
I feel
to
like I should
surf, woman surfing.
There he is. There he is. DiMaggio the Waggy. I don't have a rap for this. Thanks, Jessica Schubach.
He'll catch that wave.
Look at that. Look. Ooh. Do you see that little wave he did there? That was sweet. Let's do that again, man. Hold on.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Little kickback for the moonwalk right there. I was taking. Oh, see, you need the socks on to get a good moonwalk in. Now look how he does it up there. He's braking. He's got the little the balance tilt going here. See, look at that. He gets up there. Now watch how he transfers the balance, but you don't really notice it because it's right there. Ooh. Oh yeah. He's gonna be on America's Got Talent one of these days. Oh. Okay, now we're gonna play the. So this is long here.
From the combined newsrooms of KARK4 and Fox 16, breaking news coverage.
I don't know where that's coming from. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. All right, so this is the actual final sentencing phase, but this video here is about an hour and 15 minutes or even more. So that's going to be what's going to go on. I might even go take a shower, get my wound treated and come back out, that kind of thing. But it's really interesting to listen to. And one of the things that's really crazy is he gets up at the end and apologizes to everybody and just sounds absolutely normal. Okay? I mean, literally just nothing. So here we go.
California also announced their presence.
Good morning, Your Honor. Anne Marie Schubert, District Attorney, Sacramento.
Yeah, let me switch to when people start coming up.
78 in the county of Sacramento. In addition, the defendant admitted that he personally used a firearm.
Yeah, I'll get past all this stuff. I think it's better when they... Yeah, here we go. Like when people start talking.
Jane Doe number 11, which occurred on October 13th, 1978. Violation of Penal Code Section 209.
Yeah, so they have like the different prosecutors come up at some point. So here we go. There we go.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dinah Beckton, District Attorney for Contra Costa County.
Yeah. Well,
over 4 decades.
It's fun.
That's a long time to wait for justice to be served. Finally, we have arrived at that day.
Thank you, Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howell, and thank you for your PayPal earlier too. Thank you very much.
The day when those who have waited so very long will hear that Joseph D'Angelo will now serve the rest of his life behind bars. The boogeyman, the man whose horrific, unspeakable crimes devastated the lives of so many people.
We'll
lives that will never be the same,
to say thank you,
lives
Ray.
forever
Love
changed.
Freak's heart, Cowox
Moments, hours of terror that can never be erased or forgotten. I want to underscore the strength of our victims and their families, the courage that they've displayed over the years, and their courage this week to come forward, share in open court with all of us the pain and the agony that they have endured over the years. After today's sentencing, Mr. D'Angelo will never threaten our victims again. He will never harm another soul. His evil actions are hard to describe and recount. The victims in this case bravely told the court this week the lasting trauma and pain caused by D'Angelo's horrific actions. As a former Superior Court judge myself, hearing from victims during the sentencing phase of a case is powerful and very sobering. Those whose lives were forever changed deserved a day in court, and I want to thank the court for allowing each victim who had the courage and the determination to come forward, allowing them the time to speak. We appreciate the opportunity for their voices to be heard. Thank you, Your Honor. Let us not forget the important words this week from these men and women and their families. Their words were hard to listen to due to the depravity displayed by Mr. D'Angelo, who preyed upon these victims. I appreciate the courage that it took to come forward. Just emphasizing a few statements from our victims in Contra Costa County. One said, "I survived and thrived because of the love and the support of friends and family, for which I can never thank them enough. Now, here we are, all strong women, not victims, having our say to a madman." Another said, "Finally, I can go forward. I have the justice I have been waiting so long for. I never thought I would get it." And last but not least, one said, "We are committed and determined not to let these hours in October 1978 define who we are and what we were to become." I am so encouraged to hear that by finally seeing justice served, our victims now have hope. They have hope for a future. The criminal justice system is often complex, long-winded, and slow. In this case, for decades, D'Angelo eluded capture. However, thanks to the task force under Sacramento District Attorney Anne Marie Schubert, he was brought into custody. law enforcement officials never gave up hope that we could bring the Golden State Killer to justice. The history in this case and the Contra Costa County District Attorney's Office history is tied to our former cold case investigator, Paul Hull. Mr. Hull spent decades, much of his career, and he played a tremendous role in solving this case and bringing us to this day of reckoning. I want to express my gratitude for Paul Hull's tireless work on this case on behalf of the victims across the state of California. The entire prosecution team spent countless hours to bring this case to a resolution and to assist the victims throughout this entire process, including our victim witness advocates and our attorneys. And I thank the team for the important work that you have done to bring this case to an end. The crimes spanned over 13 years that we know of. The seriousness and the gravity of the offenses, the psychological harm, the pain and the brutality of these offenses requires nothing less than the imposition of the maximum sentence. The victims must be assured that Mr. D'Angelo will never, ever walk this earth again as a free man. Your Honor, I stand for the people to respectfully thank the court for imposing the maximum amount of time allowed. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Would the district attorney from Orange County wish to be heard?
Good morning, Your Honor. If it pleases the court, I cannot thank you enough on behalf of the people of Orange County and the people of the state of California for your grace and your patience, Your Honor. You have been amazing, and I know everybody in this room agrees just how much you have allowed us so much leeway and courtesy during these proceedings. I just wanted to publicly acknowledge you and thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I also would like to thank my team, Debbie Lloyd, Dennis Conway, Pat Dixon, Investigator Hutchcraft, Investigator Doyle, Law Clerk Rebecca Malkin, and of course I want to thank Anne Marie and her team. And I want to acknowledge, Your Honor, in public, just the amazing work of the district attorneys who work collaboratively to bring this case to justice. Many people don't know there's two interesting things about a case where a death penalty is on the line. One is that is a decision of the elected district attorneys and no one else. And in California, the only sentence that's handed down by a jury is death. Yesterday marked 40 years to the date that a stranger walked into Patty and Keith Harrington's Dana Point home and robbed those 3-month newlyweds of their life. Yesterday, the day the two brothers testified about their youngest brother, Keith. They never made it to their first wedding anniversary. Manuela Whittam spent 28 short years on this earth, never knowing the joy of motherhood, and you heard yesterday that her surviving husband never lead an appropriate life after that, until he died. Janelle Cruz, 18 years old, life was ended before she realized her dreams of graduating from college or picking out a wedding dress. Natural things we all live for in our lives. For the last 3 days, we heard about the 13 lives that were cut short through murder. We heard of the memories that were never made. We heard of the dozens and dozens of sexual assault victims who had to go through that depraved act while some of their husbands watched, which is beyond comprehension for me. As he was destroying your lives, he got to be on his boat, blow out birthday candles, hold his granddaughter. But all the time in the back of his mind, he knew we would get. Sir, in 2006, when I was the chairman of the committee that oversaw state prisons in the state assembly for the state of California, I watched the last man executed in the San Quentin death chamber. I was a witness to that death. When I was elected district attorney and this case became mine on behalf of the Orange County citizens, I wanted one thing. I wanted to wait those 25 years, and when I was at 85 or beyond, depending on how long it took for you to appeal your death sentence, I wanted them to wheel me in on my wheelchair. And instead of just staring straight forward in some glazed over eyes, I wanted to stare at you and watch you silently slip into the night. Never again to take away anybody's dreams that you ruined and the nightmares you created. I wanted to watch that. You made it personal, and it was personal for me on behalf of all these people. I honestly believe that this person, not even a person, this beast deserved the ultimate punishment of death. But we met with our victims. We knew the age of the case. We knew how long it took to solve. And we knew that this was the right thing to do, so you could all be here today in your lifetime, as long as you had this opportunity. Today, this event today is a sentencing. Earlier in the week was a celebration of life on behalf of the victim. But today is a sentence. And it's meant for the victims who are silently now in heaven, or those of you who, thank God, are still here on earth, who now can become free from the shackles that you have been forced to endure since your paths intersected with the devil. Today it's the devil who will be condemned to be behind bars for the rest of his life. He will never be free, thank God. He may have destroyed lives, but he has not destroyed memories. And I'm so grateful for the stories that all of you shared this week on behalf of your loved ones and behalf of yourselves. But for the victims whose voices have been stolen, and the family members who sadly ran out of time and could not make it here today, I want you to know that there are 13 angels watching this today. And they're with us right now. They have this opportunity to see this too. I would ask that as we are in the presence of these 13 who have left this earth but have gone to a better place, that you join me in a moment of silence for them and for all those who are still here with us or who may have passed but have experienced this horror and this nightmare. You would bow your heads, I pray. On behalf of the people of Orange County and the state of California, Your Honor, again, please accept our just heartfelt thank you for the way you've conducted this court, your personnel. We're so appreciative.
Thank you, Mr. Spitzer. Would the district attorney representing Santa Barbara wish to be heard?
Thank you, Your Honor. 25 years ago, I prosecuted my first sexual assault case in which the recipient witness was a loved one of the victims. At that point, I assumed the only traumatized person would be the victim. 3 groups of people in this courtroom know that that assumption is wrong. The recipient witnesses, of crimes committed by the defendant, the prosecutors, and the defendant himself. I know the recipient witnesses know that because they lived through it. I know the prosecutors know that because they listened carefully to those witnesses. And I know the defendant knows that. Therefore, it wasn't enough for him to rape level possible.
So we apologize. We're having obviously some connection issues there. That's Joyce Dudley, the Santa Barbara District Attorney there.
To the highest level.
That signal was breaking up, so we're actually switching you to the live stream that's coming out of that courtroom as well. This one actually allows you to look basically at everyone at once.
His victims being tortured or killed. That's just who Joe D'Angelo is. My best friend, LADA Jackie Lacey, recently told me, if you really want to hurt me, hurt someone I love. Well, this defendant really wanted to hurt. He really wanted to hurt as many people as he could, and he did just that. Around the same time that I prosecuted that case, I prosecuted my first rape of an intoxicated person case. Again, at that point, I assumed that if she couldn't remember being raped, that had to be better than remembering the gory details. Once again, I was wrong. And how do I know that? Because the victim told me so. She said, every morning when I wake up, my first thought is that something terrible happened. I just don't know what. I just don't know what.
That's how the recording is.
I don't think I can ever get over this thing until I know those details. And then she started to cry. And a very long minute went by, and she said, I'm actually jealous of rape victims who remember being raped. Yesterday, as I listened to Debbie Dominguez's powerful, powerful words about not being able to enter her home or know the details of what happened. And then I thought about Doug Domingo, Brian Sanchez, Dr. Arthur, all of whom are here today. And then all of the other victims' loved ones who will never know the details of what happened to their child, their mother, their father, their uncle, their friend. And I thought maybe...
Oh, by the way, everybody, I want to let you know that Kelly 40A, you see her, or Kelly 78, you see her in the chat. I don't know if she's in there right this second, but she sent me a one of those care packages, kind of like Cairo and Miss Skis did that one time. You know, got little fruits in it, barbecue popcorn. It's good shit, man. So thank you very much, Kelly. That was very kind of you.
Maybe some of them also felt they couldn't begin their healing process until they knew all the details. To them, I humbly suggest you don't. I too have experienced great loss. I too experienced that. And I believe you, like me, have a hole in your heart that you hope will never heal. because you love them. You love them so very much. And I believe that is what you need to know. Proceed with your healing process. What you need to know is what you already know. In life, you loved them and they loved you.
Oh, there she is right there. Thank you.
And now that this case is finally over, perhaps
the pineapple covered with chocolate was pretty good.
What you need to concentrate on, the details of that love. Focus on the things that made them lovable and allow yourself to let those memories make you smile again. I believe it is possible. True healing can come from that knowledge. Because knowing that you are loved and that you...
Yeah, that's part of the case outside with Kim, that he was an officer while he was raping people. That's been known this whole time.
You were loved is truly the most powerful knowledge of all. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor.
Good morning, Tim Ward, Tulare County District Attorney. Your Honor, when your gavel falls today, this sentence will be final.
And while he was an officer, he was aware of where the surveillance and searching would be for his previous night's rapes, and then he would just go to a different town nearby, do it, and he was always one step ahead. That's why a lot of people thought he was an officer.
Final. And this case will soon then be viewed through the prism of history. And as we have seen and heard this week, the defendant slowly ceases to be the focal point of that story. Instead, my prayer going forward is the legacy which remains will focus on the triumph and the resiliency displayed by the survivors that we've heard from this week. Though questions will inevitably remain, we should continue to be steadfastly focused on the compassion justly due these families assembled here today. Though these despicable horrors began in Tulare County, we will not be defined by evil. Instead, our entire community stands silently alongside the Snelling, the Hupp, the McGowan families, and all families here today and families across this state. In searching for some positive message to remain, I say this: the triumphant spirit of these families loudly cries across this state and across the entire world in one unified, single voice, crying out to other families who have been victimized, yet they patiently, agonizingly await their day in court. In that unified voice, the world is now told, never give up. You are not forgotten. Like many families that we've heard from this week.
And this is obviously KCRA's coverage of it, but I think it's a public video here.
Others across this nation are living a never-ending, nightmarish journey. A journey of continually closed doors. Today, they are shown and they are told, never give up hope. As science and technology evolve, the space for evil like this to operate within gets smaller and smaller. Simply put, the DNA will never forget. And by God's grace, may the doors of justice open for other families. That voice of hope is the true legacy that shall remain, and it shall not be silenced. Ever. On behalf of the Snelling, the Hupp, and the McGowan families, the Visalia Police Department, and the entire Tulare County community, Your Honor, I want to thank you for providing a model of judicial decorum that has shown remarkable deference to the families and the survivors this week. You have given the state a glimpse into why we have a system of justice in the first place, and that is to serve victims. You have allowed their voices to resonate so loudly, and you have provided a model that other courts would do well to emulate.
Thank you, sir.
As District Attorney of Tulare County, it is my honor to speak on behalf of the victims and survivors listed in count 1 of the complaint and give voice to Professor Snelling and Officer McGowan, who cannot do so today. But with their voice, I hereby ask you, Your Honor, to sentence this defendant to the maximum allowed under the law.
Thank you, sir. Would the District Attorney representing Ventura County wish to be heard?
Good morning, Your Honor. I too want to thank you for the courtesy and kindness you so graciously extended to each of the victims over the last 4 days. Your Honor, as we have witnessed during these victim impact statements, this is a case about light and darkness. The victims and survivors who testified before this court are people of light. By their courage, they have shined a very bright light on the magnitude of the crimes before this court. They painted a picture of the immense impact these horrific crimes had on their lives. In a sense, they have also brought to life their loved ones. In doing so, they have honored their memories as people of purpose, people of character, people that would have made a difference in this world were it not for their brutal murder at the hands of the defendant, who today, thank goodness, at last faces judgment. And in their statements, the victims and survivors also revealed to us the fundamental goodness of the human spirit and its will to endure, to thrive, even in the face of unspeakable suffering, loss. We must also confront the terrible darkness of the defendant.
Oh, by the way, in that case with the body parts that were in a suitcase in Seattle, they arrested the landlord of the 2 people that were chopped up and put in the suitcases. Remember that TikTok video that we went over?
Who sits before this court today stoic, devoid of humanity, lacking any remorse, and utterly unredeemable. And it is telling that his behavior both during the crimes and since his arrest reveals a person who consciously, who willfully, who intentionally avoids the light. His crimes were always committed in the dark of night. And it was common for him to cover lights, to cover furnishings, to cover televisions, to avoid any ambient light. And even now, here in this courtroom, he turns away from the light and dare not face or look at his accusers for fear that the truth of their testimonies might penetrate deep darkness being. Yesterday, during his victim impact statement, Drew Wittoon likened this proceeding to the horror one might see in a war crimes. Certainly no event in modern history can fully compare the extermination of 6 million Jews by. But still, Wittun's analogy is fitting in this case.
And as Kit Kat would say, just say no to lags.
When one looks at the whole, the crimes committed by this defendant. That analogy also reminded me of a story that was told by the chief prosecutor at Nuremberg, former United States Supreme Court Justice William H. Jackson. And the story, I believe, serves as a metaphor for the importance of the rule of law and justice itself, today and always. According to this story, a visitor at a cathedral under construction approached 3 workmen and asked them what it was that they were doing. They were all stonemasons. First muttered, "I'm earning a living."
They're all stoned masons?
The second gave an uninspired reply, "I'm laying this stone." The third one looked up at the cathedral with a gleam in his eye and his face lit up by his faith and said, "I'm building a cathedral." Now one might question the comparison of what we do here today to the building of a cathedral, particularly given the grotesque, gruesome, and ugly nature of the crimes before this court. But I do want to point out that over the last 4 days, we consciously and intentionally avoided showing any images of the gruesome crime scenes that are so much a part of this case. We did so not to marginalize the brutality and sheer cruelty of the defendant's crimes, but instead to honor, to shine a light on, and to pay tribute to the lives of the victims and their survivors. Your Honor, no one in this courtroom doubts or is uncertain about the ultimate sentence that you will impose today. And we acknowledge that no judgment by this court can bring back or fully restore the lives impacted by this cruel serial killer and rapist. Still, you have presided over a very emotional yet dignified and respectful proceeding for the purpose of meting out man's justice on this defendant. And as district attorney for the Ventura County, I am grateful for the way you have acquitted yourself, conducted this proceeding. It is also my fervent hope, my prayer, that much like that stonemason looking up at the beauty of a cathedral he was building, the victims who appeared before you can look up and feel a sense of hope, a sense of renewed hope, a sense of purpose, a sense of life, with the knowledge that today, in this courtroom, in this time, in this place, we all did the very best we could do to deliver man's justice, which, as we know, is never fully adequate. I now respectfully ask the court to impose the maximum sentence authorized by law and the plea in this case. And I
Thank you, counsel. Does the district attorney representing Sacramento County wish to be heard at this time?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I stand here as the district attorney for Sacramento County, but I stand here incredibly proud of this team. I thank the defense team for your professionalism through the entirety of this litigation. Judge Bowman, you have demonstrated dignity and grace that is remarkable. It has been 16,417 days since Joseph DeAngelo began his reign of terror 44 years, 11 months, and 11 days. For those in Sacramento, it's been 16,136 days since the first rape of Phyllis. 44 years, 2 months, and 4 days. It's been 42 years since Brian and Katie were taken from this world. And it's been 12,529 days since Janelle, that beautiful light, was taken. 34 years, 3 months, and 18 days. A few days after this plea agreement, the plea on June 29th, I had an email forwarded to me from a local journalist, from a woman from Sacramento named Pam. It could have been written today. In my belief, it encapsulates how I think everyone that has sat in this courtroom for this last week or sat in their homes and watched this transpire feel.
Thanks, Kit Kat and Billy Boy Blue. Yep, we got to keep up the same pace as last month so that we can donate. I'd like to be able to donate in the 2000s.
Kit Kat, ever.
Again. But we're about on pace, but not quite.
And I'm going to quote that. I am wrung out. I almost put D'Angelo in the subject line, but I cannot give him any more headlines. I am 70.
This is the original prosecutor when he was arrested, who gave the press conference.
71 years old, third generation native Sacramentan. I lived through the terror of the East Area rapist. Over the past 40 years, I have read everything regarding this case. No window is ever open or unlocked at night, ever. Gates on either side of our home are locked always. Lights surround our home. My close friends all feel the same. Recently, a contractor in my home questioned why my sturdy, large, nailed picture window facing out hadn't been considered for replacement with, quote, nice sliders with screens to open out. I looked at the 40-something sternly and I said my always ready answer. 3 words. East Area rapist. He made some comment about how he'd heard something about him, but he'd been, quote, arrested. I explained, you don't understand. I lived it. It will never go away. She goes on to say, while I was not a victim, I was a victim. On Monday, June 29th, I sat in front of my TV and I cried. I cried for the victims.
Oh my God, did
I cried for the families. The horror, the terror of what those who died went through in their final moments. As a person of faith, I put my faith in God's love, that He immediately covered those victims in peace and in love. I have to believe that in order to put my foot forward every day.
Yeah, it is kind of slow, Sunday Gotcha, but we do what we do on this show, and we just play it so that we hear the real thing. If you don't like it, then don't watch the channel. I don't need you to complain, though, and show up and complain. It's ridiculous when people do that.
Pam followed up with a note to me just a couple days ago. My heart, my being continues to weep
tonight as we watch this
for those victims.
I'm not sure she has family.
For the last week, our hearts and our beings have wept.
Thanks, Melissa.
For each of his victims and their families. Their words and their stories will never be forgotten. As described by so many of the murder victim families.
Yes, we said your name, idiot. You said, this is kind of slow. Okay, so I'm responding to your stupid comment. Maybe you're slow, and that's why it seems slow to you.
and the crime victims. Our society has been deprived of exceptional and extraordinary people. These rapes and these murders, in the words of our victims, have cut across families, friends, generations, and entire communities. In the words of Brian Sanchez, overwhelming grief is an understatement, and true justice is an overstatement. Personally, I have faith that their souls
Maybe I can speed it up really fast so it sounds like a chipmunk.
have been covered in peace and love. My greatest hope for all of these victims and their families, perhaps, is best put in their own words, as we heard this week. The greatest revenge is to live your lives. Paint your children and your grandchildren's rooms again with hearts and rainbows. Water ski again. Know that the monster of your childhood or your younger years is gone forever and will die alone in the dark. To the defendant, or as Mr. Whittoon called him, the convict, there is honestly little left to say. Your name will fade from the headlines. But despite that fade, know one thing. Until the day you leave this earth, this incredible team, a team that has worked for decades to find you, to arrest you, prosecute you, convict you, will not just promise you, but will ensure that you will never succeed at deceiving or manipulating the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation into believing that you are some feeble, inept old man who somehow deserves better housing, treatment, or privileges. Lastly, Your Honor, and perhaps...
There we go, look at that. Okay.
Well, we're going to take a very, and I mean very short break, like 5 minutes. I'm going to exchange.
My court reporter, exchange after the court reporter. I wouldn't want to run too far. Okay. All right, everybody, we're going to be in recess for about 5 minutes. If you could just recess in place, that'd be great.
Okay, this is for the idiot Sunday gotcha. Here we go.
Interesting thing that happened yesterday was Joseph D'Angelo's ex-wife, who had not spoken publicly about
crimes and about what she did or did not know about her husband, released a victim impact statement, and it was released yesterday. And it was interesting to hear what she had said. Sharon Huddle is a divorce attorney here locally, and she wrote in her statement, "I have lost my ability to trust people. I trusted the defendant," meaning her husband, "when he told me he had to go to work, or he was pheasant hunting, or he was going to his parents hundreds of miles away. I worked graveyard shifts at Jack in the Box fast food restaurant and at Placer County Juvenile Hall. At times, I studied late into the night at my law school, and when I was not around, I trusted that he was doing what he told me he was doing. And now, without the ability..."
Oh yeah, let's listen to this, everybody. This one's interesting. See, this is his ex-wife. What she said.
"Hundreds of miles away. I worked graveyard shifts."
Hold on.
And she wrote in her statement, "I have lost my ability to trust people. I trusted the defendant," meaning her husband, "when he told me he had to go to work, or he was pheasant hunting, or he was going to his parents hundreds of miles away. I worked graveyard shifts at Jack in the Box fast food restaurant and at Placer County Juvenile Hall. At times, I studied late into the night at my law school, and when I was not around, I trusted that he was doing what he told me he was doing. And now, without the ability to trust, my relationships with other people are severely impacted. I wish that nothing I say here will detract from any other person's impact statement." So it really does speak to what so many of the victims and the victim advocates have talked about the far-reaching impacts of these.
I don't know. I think some of these people are really good at tricking people. You know, he's obviously not going to let her know that he's doing that shit, right?
Crimes. Make sure they did take Joseph D.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning. See, this is kind of some weird shit here. She actually gives impact statements of D'Angelo's kids and so forth.
Nothing we can say can lessen the
See, this is his defense attorney. That's him right there.
seriousness of Mr. D'Angelo's actions. Nothing we can say can take away the pain of the survivors. Nothing we can say can bring back the murder victims. We have heard you, and we have seen, and we have felt your pain and suffering. We applaud those who have kept their loved ones alive in their memory.
Right.
And we have been.
And maybe how he treated Bonnie, he realized, ooh, wow. So he didn't treat the next person like that because it gave away who he was.
Been humbled by the strength of the survivors. We hope that by admitting these offenses, Mr. D'Angelo has provided some peace to their survivors and their loved ones. And we hope that these proceedings have provided some relief. We want to read a few brief statements from family members of Mr. D'Angelo to the court. Some, but not all, family members have felt comfortable putting themselves in the public eye. And we ask the public and the media to respect his family's privacy.
Yeah, we heard you say that, Ada. I'm glad you don't believe the ex-wife. Good for you.
They are innocent. It is not our intention in reading these letters
know whether or not she's telling the truth
to make excuses for his actions, to justify or explain his actions, or to cause any further pain to the victims. This is from his sister. I feel moved towards writing this so that my brother Joe will know that my love for him will never go away. That's to say also that my sadness does not fade regarding the charges against him. As I think back and try to more clearly understand it all, so many things come to mind. Don't misunderstand that I am searching for an excuse for it all, because I'm not.
Yeah, see, my thing is, I don't know if she's telling the truth. Yeah, I mean, what Jana Fan just typed in, they were separated since 91, but she didn't file until after he was arrested. She kept her maiden name, but is now changing it to his last name. Strange. And she's a divorce attorney. Therefore, she's not telling the truth. I don't know. I don't know. What you just wrote, I don't even know if that's true what you wrote. I don't know any of that stuff. People just type in stuff and, you know, sometimes it's a little off here and there. I don't know. Okay? But I just want to listen to this stuff, and then later on, you know, the main thing we're trying to figure out here was watch D'Angelo when he gets up there. It's crazy.
I do more or less blame our father in part. He was a stern military career man and also a womanizer. He was also responsible for causing abuse in our family. Mainly.
I mean, here's the thing: is none of us actually know if these other people making comments are telling the truth or not, and we don't even have enough circumstantial evidence to be able to say, oh, okay, well, she did this and this and this. How could she not have known? We don't know. Okay?
Being hard on Joe and our mother. Both mental and physical abuse was usually directed to them. It got to be more than I and my siblings could stand, so we all chose to leave home at early ages. I left at 15, and my siblings followed before any of them turned 18. There were so many other things that Joe faced, and I'm sure he couldn't cope with it all. Of course, it will never justify what has happened, and I can only express my deepest sympathy to all of the survivors and to the families of the victims. May God bless each of you. This is from a niece. Joseph James D'Angelo is my uncle, not by blood, but by marriage. I've known him my whole life. I was in their wedding when I was 5.
So it's weird hearing people type these things in that are family members, and I think almost every one of them would want to distance themselves from him, but they actually type in things that are positive, which is, it's freaky that he was able to hide some of that stuff from people and had a completely different life.
I've lived with them on and off throughout the years.
Yes, Tiffany, we've been done with that.
Spent all summers with them and most weekends. If I couldn't get there by bus, Joe always came and got me. Life with them was good. It was a dream. My life for once felt normal. My home life was troubled. I was verbally and physically abused by my dad. I didn't want to live anymore. It was just torture. Joe stepped in and said she can live with us. That was the beginning of my new life with Joe. He saved my life. I didn't know how good life could be. He taught me everything, always taking me out for driving lessons. He was so patient. Just try again, he'd say.
Yeah, patient like I am. You know, you guys, aren't I the most patient person any of you have ever really met? I mean, I never complain or bitch about anything. I'm just, God, I'm amazing.
Wasn't used to that. I'm used to getting yelled at and hit for making mistakes. Joe was kind and loving. He played games with me. Joe, out of anyone in my life, has always been my favorite person. I always wished he were my dad. He made my life peaceful. He is a part of why I am good, kind, and loving person I am today.
See that? She's actually saying that he made her the loving person that she is today.
This is my story.
Okay, yes, I know, I was being sarcastic, but I am pretty patient when I have the callers, right? Let's be honest.
This is the truth. I'm thankful I had him in my life. I wouldn't be here today.
Thank you, counsel. Mr. Kress.
Good morning. My family met the D'Angelos when Joe was 13 years old. We were living on Mather Air Force Base. Homes were duplexes, so in a manner of speaking, we were neighbors. I became good friends with Connie, and my little brothers played with Johnny. Joseph became good friends with my brothers, and later very close with my family. Joe became another brother, and my parents treated him as they did their own 5 sons. Joe called my parents Mom and Pop. Mom and Dad were sparse with the hands-on punishment, but didn't hesitate to verbally correct us, and Joe was included. We were always having family get-togethers, and Joe was always a part of the fun. Every holiday was a big celebration, and Joseph was included. On Christmas, Joe always had a gift for Mom and Pop. Joseph and my brothers did the typical teenage things: fishing, shooting their BB guns, talking about girls and cars, going to the movies and swimming at the river. Then they were old enough to buy cars, and it was load the car with their buddies and drive-ins, here we come. While we were at Mather Air Force Base, it became clear that household chores, cooking, and other household chores were Joe's responsibilities. He was responsible for his brother and sister, making sure they were fed, homework done, baths, and bed on time. Joe had to make sure the house was cleaned. His mother...
Hey, what Joe do? Hey, look at that! Joe is so much fun! Yay!
I think Zozo had that line just for you. Don't you think, Mary Lou, when she said Joe is so much fun, yay? It almost seemed like she had your voice. Yep, let me try it again, let me try it again, let me try it again, let me try it again. What do you mean, let me... Oh, forget it.
I can't.
It worked. And of course, his father had a job as well. All this responsibility on a 13-year-old child was too much. He didn't really have a lot of time to goof off like other 13-year-old boys do. He wasn't in baseball, and later high school and junior high, he didn't participate in sports. He showed no interest because his father didn't take an interest in sports or his son. Joe never complained or aired his feelings about things that bothered him. He was not a braggart. I always remember him as smiling, laughing, and enjoying being around the family. I remember nights when my mom was so tired, but she couldn't go to bed because several of my brother's buddies were gathered to discuss girls and dating, and Mom always made time for them. She answered their questions and listened to them. Joe was there on several occasions. He came to the house quite often. After joining the military, he always spent time with the family when home on leave. He brought Mom gifts from different ports of call. When Joseph graduated from high school, joined the military, became a police officer, got married and had children, the entire family was proud of him, just like we were with every accomplishment of each other. Joseph was a close friend, another brother, respectful to Mom and Pop, and always polite. He was helpful and considerate. I never heard a foul word come out of his mouth. When Joe married and their first child came along, my sister and I took...
Well, the speaker is just reading a letter from a family member. He's not the person. So he wasn't fooled at all.
...turns babysitting for them. Joe would be sleeping or grocery shopping or baking or paying bills. Sometimes he would be working on his radio-controlled boats. Not just a kit, but 60...
Well, here's the thing. It's odd commentary unless you realize that a lot of these people... For example, let me just tell you this. Dennis Radar, for example, had he not been arrested for serial killing and had died, people at his eulogy might say these same comments. Oh, he was so kind. He was great. He would come around. He'd help me do this. He'd help me do that. Because nobody knew the shit he was doing on the side. That was a separate life that they kept hidden. You know, and he was probably really good at it. I mean, look at the Golden State Killer, James DiMaggio, is probably the most prolific serial rapist and one of the worst serial killers, because that's what he is, ever. And he got away with it, and would have continued to get away with it, only because DNA solved it later. Nobody knew about DNA when he was doing his crimes. Okay? Yeah, I mean, so when you read these comments, these are what these people experienced with him, because he was hiding what he was really doing from them. He acted totally normal, and some of them are incidents before all of this. So this guy's a freaking, you know, he's one of the scariest type of people that are out there. They're the ones that can do the stuff that they do and get away with it.
The 7-foot boats he would take to Nimbus Lake, and we'd go along to watch. When we were babysitting at noon, we drove to the McGeorge School of Law so Sherry could nurse the baby. Joseph paid us well and was appreciative of our time. He was a good father. He sent his girls to a Montessori school in their early years, and he paid for their college. While they were young, he paid for horseback riding, skating, and supported them in whatever they did. He cooked for them, kept a clean house and a neat yard. Through all this, Joe never forgot to visit Mom and Pop and come to the house on holidays. When Mom and Dad passed away, he came to visit my sister, and I cried. He always told us before he left, "Let me know if you need anything. If there's anything I can do." He always left us hugs when he arrived and left. This is from a niece. As I sit down to write this letter, I realize there's only one place to start. I wish my deepest sympathy, sorrow, and pain relief to all of the victims. I cannot imagine what any
Right. Dennis Radar is BTK.
Any of you endured. I'm simply writing this letter to tell you I do not know the person known as the Golden State Killer. In no time did I see anything that would have led me to believe that. I know him as my Uncle Joe, whom I love clearly.
I mean, think about it. He did this stuff late at night. Come home. You know, it's kind of weird that, like, he would always come. He must have been coming home at like 3:30 or 4. So maybe that's a point where you might think, well, how come the wife didn't think that's weird that he kept coming home? But there maybe he came up with excuses for it.
My Uncle Joe was always my hero, the one I couldn't wait to see. I hunted as a child with him. We went crawdad fishing in the canal, ate pizzas, got ice cream, just plain had good times. We camped together as a family. He always made it a point to attend any special occasions I had. My wedding and my daughter's first birthday.
I don't think anybody's in there going, oh, wow. Here's what I'm thinking, everybody. I think this makes him a scarier type of person. Because what it shows is that there's a lot of people that he tricked And that's how he's able to hide who he really was in society. Okay? So we all know he isn't like... I mean, I guess you can be two things. He had two personas, right? The one that was the regular family person, and then at night he'd go out and do the shit, you know, like BTK and, you know, as I said a minute ago, Dennis Radar is the same person. You know, they look kind of normal, everything's just kind of, and they're just doing some unspeakable shit at night.
Birthday to name a couple. I always felt that my uncle loved me and still do. I personally feel that someone else is inside of him who I do not know. Our last visit was 3 weeks before his arrest. We spent much time together talking, and I will cherish it forever. Uncle Joe, I will always remember your last words to me. I love you, sweetie, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, maybe she didn't, Jan. I mean, you're a little too, like, as if you just know based on what you're saying. Maybe she didn't see it, because if she did show it to him, then she would have known. Are you thinking they're like a Bonnie and Clyde team now? So that's what you're sort of implying, Jan, is that James and his ex-wife are sort of a Bonnie and Clyde team.
The day we found out about the arrest, my mom called me, and I rushed right over to her house as I heard she collapsed. The detectives were there. We've been harassed by media, investigators, and people who blame us for something we had no knowledge of. I believed I knew my uncle, and I am still in shock. I feel for my cousins and family, as nobody understands. And we try to make sense of it, but you just can't. I do not know the person who committed those crimes. I know my uncle who I love and always love. There's so much more I could say about what a wonderful uncle, dad, son, brother, and great uncle to my kids he was. My heart is crushed, and I will never be the same trusting person. I no longer have trust for anyone. It's really hard to end this letter, but I guess all I can say is I'm very sorry to the victims. I can't imagine what they went through. I love my Uncle Joe as I knew him, and that will never change because I can't wrap my head around the fact that someone so caring and loving could have done those things. Mr. D'Angelo would like to make a brief statement.
D'Angelo?
See, now listen, this is really interesting to me because watch how he talks here and compare him to this. You remember that crap when he would talk like that? Okay, listen to this. It's not even close. It's now you hear exactly what he sounded like all those years. Just do it quick. You know you're a little quicker than that. It's really, you know, I get when I watch this, it's spooky because it's like the mask was taken off. The little tricky mask that he was trying to sell to everybody since the day he was arrested, right? So when you watch him speak normally, it's kind of creepy. Like,
I've listened to all your statements, each one of them. And I'm truly sorry to everyone I've hurt. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
yeah, so that's him. That's what he sounds like. That is him right there. There isn't any.
Defense submitted.
Yes. As he has desired since the beginning of this case, Mr. D'Angelo has accepted responsibility for his crimes by pleading.
Yeah, I think he has accepted responsibility for it. But what does that even mean? So what? That just means he was trying to get a good deal, so he took responsibility for it. Who cares? You know?
Pleading guilty, and has even admitted uncharged crimes.
Yeah, the uncharged ones. That was pretty.
Thank
you, Mr. Kress.
You know, that's the part that was pretty good that they were able to get him to do is to him plead guilty to the uncharged crimes like Jane and John Doe 7 and 8.
Reference to Sacramento Probation Department for pre-sentence investigation report was waived at the time of plea, and a 1203.C report was requested or will be requested. Courts also considered the sentencing memorandums submitted by the defense as well as the people. With respect to the approval of this disposition,
now, who's saying that you think he's sorry?
Court approves of this plea. I have considered the comments of counsel, the facts in this case, as well as the overall circumstances of this disposition. I've considered the defendant's age, the fact there are inmates currently on death row and have been so for 30 years. I have considered the fact that there is currently a moratorium on the death penalty in California. Furthermore, this disposition does give survivors and their loved ones an opportunity to have their words heard and not to endure the unimaginable emotions that they would experience by sitting through such a trial. Finally, with this resolution, the California taxpayers have been saved tens of millions of dollars. For the reasons stated, the court approves of this plea. However, the court is not saying that Mr. D'Angelo does not deserve to have the death penalty imposed. It merely means the court feels it would never come to pass. In truth, all the parties should be commended in reaching this resolution, for the result of this trial and a plea of guilty is the same. Mr. D'Angelo will spend the rest of his natural life and ultimately meet his death confined behind the walls of a state penitentiary. I generally don't make comments at sentencing, but I am going to make an exception. Having approved of this plea, I will now move on to the imposition of sentence. Mr. D'Angelo, I've listened for the last 3 days from the people you've terrorized and their friends and their family. Their impact statement. I was moved by their courage, their grace, their strength, all qualities you clearly lack. I know whatever words I say today will pale in comparison to the words the survivors have spoken. They need to be said. The fundamental principle of law that justice delayed is justice denied is no truer than in this case. But for the dogged persistence and perseverance of law enforcement, their survivors, their families, and citizen detectives, this case may have remained unsolved. There are many heroes like Carol Daly, Paul Holes, Michelle McNamara, and many heroes that I don't even know that brought this day here. And I have little doubt, but for the tenacity and unwavering quest for justice
well, you forgot to mention that one YouTube channel. He broke the case, you remember?
Exhibited by Sacramento District Attorney's Office, Emery Schubert, you may have escaped earthly justice altogether. If I listened to the survivors and I've watched you, I could not help but wondering, what are you thinking? Are you capable of comprehending the pain and anguish you have caused?
He's just sort of OCD. I don't know what this stuff, it seems like these are filters or something that blocks the light to come out the top. You know, he's just doing all kinds of shit in there. Nothing nefarious, doesn't seem like it.
To quote the great American novelist and California native John Steinbeck, to a man born without a conscience, a soul-stricken man must seem ridiculous. To a criminal, honesty is foolish. You must not forget that a monster is merely a variation, and that to a monster, the norm is monstrous. Mr. Steinbeck seems to think that monsters are born and not created. I'm not so sure, but one thing I do know, when a person commits monstrous acts, they need to be locked away where they can never harm another innocent person. It is my sincere hope that with the opportunity to be heard these last few days and the sentence to be imposed, the survivors will find some resolution, will find some peace, and hopefully find some justice, however imperfect. Mr. D'Angelo, I sentence you to the following. Count 1, the charge of murder in the first degree.
Hey, can you put the link in the... what's the name of that guy that sings Hey Yama? I was actually literally... Jenny Penny, today, I wanted to listen to it again. So I typed it in, but I couldn't. It was something like The Warrior or something or other, but I couldn't find it. So I need the name of that again, so we can just play it. I need a little round of it right now. Doesn't it just kind of seem like, let's play it and then what's the name of it? What's the name of it? Come on. It was something like The Warrior. Come on, somebody out there remembers, right?
Wheelchair access man cartwheeling wave.
I mean, that's a true thing. Hey, thanks, Drez562. Yes, definitely need that wave going. We got to get this up. So what did you, what's the name of that group? Remember the Hey Yama song? Come on. You just got to give me his name. I'm going to play it and then watch D'Angelo and see if it fits somehow. Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Xavier Rudd. There you go. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. Hey, I'm a, hey, I'm a, hey. There we go, right there. I love this. Oh God, it's just so great. Oh, it's so great. How the heart, family, you starved your own kids. Oh God. Idiot. Get it back out. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, I'm a hey.
Yannick's baby, let's jam.
Hey, I'm a hey, I'm a hey. Oh yeah, that's good shit. Okay, here we go.
1979, Life Without the.
And if you don't remember, that's from the Hart case where the Barbarian Hart family took all their kids to one of those new age sort of bullshit hippie concerts out in the middle of nowhere, and you know, they send their little Devante up there wearing a zebra outfit, and it's just, and they're acting like, oh God, isn't this the greatest thing ever? We are so woke. We are just the greatest family ever. And the whole time they were starving them to death, and then ended up killing them by driving a bus filled with all the kids off of a cliff because they're freaking morons. But we always liked the way this song sounded, and I figured we'd play a little of that.
Perfect.
Possibility of parole sentences in counts 4 through 13 and count 26. Count 3, with a charge of murder in the first degree of Brian Majori, a violation of Penal Code Section 187, and in conjunction with a multiple murder special circumstance code 190.2, parent C, parent 3, as well as Penal Code Section 190, parent C, parent 5. The court hereby sent.
No, it did to me today, Jenny. That's the funny thing is today I literally was looking up. I typed in Hey Yama, the Warrior or something, but it didn't come up.
You to life without the possibility of parole. Regarding the weapons enhancement,
that would be
in the course
a cool
of that murder, the defendant personally used a firearm, a violation of Penal Code Section 122.5. The court imposes a sentence of 2 years to run concurrent.
See, look at, he's putting cardboard boxes on top of the lights coming out of this thing here. Or little, not boxes, but like cutouts.
for the sentence just imposed by operation of law.
See, he's already gaming the system, even in a short little stay like this.
The sentence in count 3 to run concurrent with count 2 by operation of law. Count 4, for the charge of murder in the first degree, Deborah Manning, a violation of Penal Code Section 187, that murder having been committed while engaged in the commission of a rape, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, parent C, parent 3, and burglary, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, parent C, parent 3, parent 5. The court hereby sentenced the defendant to an additional life without the possibility of parole. Regarding the weapons enhancement, that in the course of that murder, the defendant personally used a firearm, a violation of Penal Code Section 122.5. The court imposes an additional sentence of 2 years to run consecutive. The sentence to count 4 to be served consecutive to count 2, and consecutive to sentence to be imposed in counts 5 through 13 and count 26. Count 5. For the murder of the first degree of Robert Offerman, a violation of Penal Code Section 187, that is, the murder having also been committed while engaged in the commission of burglary, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, parent C, parent 3, parent 5.
Captain Christopher Pike being let out of the Star Trek
to an additional
Enterprise.
Sentence of life without the possibility of parole.
Starships.
Regarding the weapon enhancement, that in the course of that murder, the defendant personally used a firearm, a violation of Penal Code Section 1222.5. The court imposes a sentence of an additional 2 years to run consecutive. The sentence in count 5 to be served consecutive to count 2 and count 4, and consecutive to the sentence to be imposed in counts 6 through 13 and count 26. Count 6.
You know, I'm glad that they're covering the toilet on every shot here. You know, because I'm sure James was leaving these logs in there, much like Chris Watts does with a little corn speckle in it. You know, we don't like that. So thank you, whoever edited this, to block the toilet.
For the murder in the first degree of Sherry Domingo, a violation of Penal Code Section 187. That murder having been committed while engaged in the commission of rape, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, parent A, parent 17, parent 3, and burglary, a violation of Penal Code.
I think I need to rewind that. Look at that. Watch right here. He reaches over to the sink.
That murder.
Now look at right here how he looks at what the content is in the toilet. Look at him. He's looking at it. He's looking at it more, and he's still glancing, still looking. Oh, and then he... Okay.
The commission of rape, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, parent A, parent 17, parent 3, and burglary, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, parent A, parent 17, parent 7. The court hereby sentences the defendant to an additional sentence of life without the possibility of parole.
Now this scene with the darkness, I think it needs hold on. Maybe not that one. How about this one?
The sentence in count 6 to be served consecutive to counts 2, 4, and 5, and consecutive to the sentence to be imposed in counts 17 through 13 and count 26. Count 7. For the charge of murder in the first degree of Greg Sanchez, a violation of Penal Code Section 187.
Obviously, surveillance cameras.
That murder having been committed while engaged in the commission of a burglary, a violation of Penal Code Section.
Hey, Jen, it was a ghost up in the corner flying around with a camera. It's really weird how the ghosts are getting smaller these days, and they can even hold a little tiny camera.
190.2, parent A, parent 17, parent 7. The court hereby sentences the defendant to an additional sentence of life without the possibility of parole. Regarding the weapons enhancement, that in the course of that murder, the defendant personally used a firearm, a violation of Penal Code Section 12022.5, the court imposes an additional sentence of 2 years to run consecutive. The sentence in count 7 to be served consecutive.
Hey, maybe it was Cairo, maybe it was the midget that he got his little wiener off of. Yeah, we just never know at this point.
Consecutive to counts 2, in counts 4 through 6 and consecutive to the sentence to be imposed in counts 8 through 13 and count 26. Count 8. For the charge of murder in the first degree of Charlene Smith, violation of Penal Code Section 187. That murder having been committed while engaged in the commission of rape, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, paren A, paren 17, paren 3, and burglary, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, paren A, paren 17, paren 7. The court hereby sentences the defendant to an additional sentence of life without the possibility of parole. That sentence in count 8 to be served consecutive to counts 2 and counts 4 through 7, as well as consecutive to the sentence to be imposed in counts 9 through 13 and count 26. Count 9. For the murder, first degree murder of Lyman Smith, a violation of Penal Code Section 187. That murder having been committed while engaged in the commission of a burglary, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, paren A, paren 17, paren 7. The court hereby sentences the defendant to an additional sentence life without the possibility of parole. The sentence in count 9 to be served consecutive to counts 2 and counts 4 through 8 and consecutive to the sentence to be imposed in counts 10 through 13 and count 26. Count 10. For the charge of murder in the first degree of Patrice Harrington, a violation of Penal Code Section 187. That murder.
That's the Heyama workout plan. What are you doing?
It's James DiMaggio.
Wow, look at that. What's weird?
Here's what's strange is look at all the, what's going on with the, look at how he's got these toilet paper rolls lined up, and he's got these sort of like bags in here. How does he get these things?
That murder was committed while engaged in the commission of a burglary, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, paren A, paren 17, paren 7. The court hereby sentences the defendant to an additional sentence of life without the possibility of parole.
That's right, Stephen Bashir's.
To be served consecutive to counts 2 and counts 4 through 10 and consecutive to the sentence to be imposed in counts 12, 13, and 26. Count 12. For the charge of murder, degree of Manuel Whitney, a violation of Penal Code Section 187. That murder having been committed while engaged in the commission of rape, violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, paren A.
Yes, James. That's a vent. That's a vent there. I know you're not very bright at this point, but yes, that is a vent. Maybe that's where you got those pieces you put over the light, but I don't know. You're a clever guy. Now let's get back to it.
Paren 17, paren 3, burglary, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, paren A, paren 17, paren 7. Robbery, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, paren A.
Oh, you guys can't hear anything? Hold on.
17, paren 1.
Yeah, why is that so quiet?
Court hereby sentences the defendant to an additional sentence of life without the possibility.
Oh, the video's quiet. Let me see. So why would that be low? Let me check. Let's just listen to the scary music, though. So that's quiet, too, though. Everything's quiet. See that? The music's even quiet too, right? Well, I guess that was playing at that height. Let me try to see what's going on here.
In violation of Penal Code Section 187,
Huh.
murder was committed while engaged in the commission of a burglary. In violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, paren A, paren 17.
That's weird. It's so loud in my ears. It's strange that I can see though that the levels are pretty low over on the right though.
Paren 7. The court hereby sentences the defendant to an additional sentence of life without the possibility of parole.
I don't know what's going on there.
11 to be served consecutive to counts 2 and counts 4 through 10, and consecutive to the sentence to be imposed in counts.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Let me turn. I'm gonna try something crazy here. So hold on. It might have been this program here, though. Can you guys hear me now? Oh, it said something like not working. Okay, let me try that again. Huh.
And burglary, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2.
Wow.
Paren A, paren 17, paren 7.
Oh, I know why.
The court hereby sentences the defendant to an additional sentence of life without the possibility of parole. Sentence in count 10 to be served consecutive 2 and 4. Excuse me, count 2 and 4 through 9, and consecutive to sentence to be imposed in counts 11.
Has it always been playing that low like that this whole time? Yeah, that's really weird that you can't hear the... I can see it. I see what you guys are talking about, though, because it's supposed to be able to hear that. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I can't tell you.
13 and count 26. Count 11. The charge of murder in the first degree of Keith Harrington. A violation of Penal Code Section 187. That murder was committed while engaged in the commission of a burglary. A violation of Penal Code Section...
So were you guys able to hear it before? Oh, yeah, I don't know if the music screwed it up. Let me try to do something else. I'm going to try to fix it. Ugh, man, too much pain to do this. Okay, so you were able to hear it before. Might just be a minute or two. Yeah, things aren't really moving. Let me see. So I'm still in. If I shut this down, I should be able to come back on the same stream. I'm going to try it. Okay, let's try it. Hold on. Well, I'm back on here, but it's still not doing it right. I have no idea what happened. No idea. Let's see. Oh, I think I just figured it out. Idiot.
A, paren 17, paren 7. The court hereby sentences the defendant to an additional sentence of life without the possibility of parole.
There we go. Got it.
The sentence in count 11 to be served consecutive to counts 2 and counts 4 through 10, and consecutive to the sentence to be imposed in counts 12, 13, and 26. Count 12. For the charge of murder.
Well, here's what I had. I had the button put. You know the button I push when I get a caller so you guys can't hear him? I accidentally pushed that, but I couldn't see it. And now we're getting that crazy clicking. There we go. That's a wire issue.
A violation of Penal Code Section 187. That murder having been committed while engaged in the commission of rape. Violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, paren A, paren 17, paren 3. Burglary, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, paren A, paren 17, paren 7. And robbery, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, paren A, paren 17, paren 1. The court hereby sentenced the defendant to an additional sentence of life without the possibility of parole. The sentence in count 12 to be served consecutive to counts 2 and counts 4 through 11, and consecutive to the sentence to be imposed in counts 13 and 26. Count 13. For the charge of murder in the first degree, Janelle Cruz. A violation of Penal Code Section 187, and that murder was committed while engaged in the commission of a rape.
Yeah, so he just kind of goes through all these, and let's see what we got here.
To run concurrent with the sentence just imposed by operation of law. For the charge of kidnapping with intent to commit robbery, a violation of Penal Code Section 209, the court hereby sentenced the defendant to life with a minimum of 7 years. Regarding the weapons enhancement, that in the course of that kidnapping, the defendant personally used a firearm.
Oh, did it again? Oh, God.
A violation of Penal Code Section 12022.5. The court imposes a sentence of not less than 5 years to run concurrent with the sentence just imposed by operation of law. Jesus. The sentence in count 24 to be served concurrent with counts 1 through 3 and 14 through 23, and with a sentence to be imposed in count 25 by operation of law.
I just want to get to sort of the end.
Imposed by operation of law. The sentence in count 25 to be served.
I mean, he just kind of says the same. Everybody gets life in
consecutive
prison.
Life sentences without the possibility of parole. The sentence to of 7 years. Regarding the weapons enhancement, that in the course of that kidnapping, the defendant personally used a firearm. A violation of Penal Code Section 12022.5. The court imposes a sentence of 2 years to run consecutive with the sentence just imposed. The sentence in count 26 to be served consecutive to counts 2 and counts 4 through 13. The aggregate sentence for Joseph James D'Angelo is the following. For counts 2 and 14 through 13, he's committed to the state prison for the indeterminate term of 11 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. The sentence to run consecutive to the indeterminate life term for count 26. The weapons enhancements in counts 4, 5, 7, and 26 consist of an aggregate determinate term of 8 years to run consecutive. Another way to state the sentences as follows. Mr. D'Angelo is sentenced to a total of 11 life without the possibility of parole sentences, plus an additional life sentence, plus an additional 8 years. This is the
So that's 9,000 years, everybody. If we can just get him 9,030, we'll be just fine.
Absolute maximum sentence the court is able to impose under the law. And while the court has no power to make a determination of where the defendant is imprisoned, the survivors have spoken clearly. The defendant deserves no mercy. Credits are restricted to 850.
Didn't those claps stop a little too quickly? Was that I know there was people there, but
50 actual days. The California restitution statute, Penal Code Section 1202.4, did not take in effect until January 1st, 1985. Prior to that, there was no provision for restitution. The court will order restitution for count 13, the murder of Janelle Cruz. If the defendant is entitled to a hearing on that restitution, the Department of Corrections is authorized to collect restitution according to the acceptable statutes and regulations. The order for restitution is enforceable as a civil judgment. Prior to 1984, Penal Code Section 672 provided a fine to up to $5,000 for a conviction of a felony. Commencing January 1st, 1984, the fine was increased to $10,000. Consequently, counts 1 through 12 and counts 14 through 26 are subject to a maximum $5,000 fine, and count 13 is subject to a maximum $10,000 fine, and I order these fees and fines to be imposed at the maximum. Pursuant to Penal Code Section 290 or 290, you must register as a sex offender with the chief of the police in the city or the sheriff or the county in which you reside for the remainder of your life. You must submit to an AIDS test. Pursuant to Penal Code Section 1202.1, you are advised that you may never own or possess a firearm or ammunition for the rest of your life. You are ordered to satisfy the requirements of Penal Code Section 296 and 296.1 by providing DNA samples as well as thumb and palm prints. Having waived your appeal rights, the advisement of appellate rights are not applicable. The court reporter will prepare a transcript of these sentencing proceedings to be filed for any future dates. Counsel, is there anything else before we adjourn?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. D'Angelo, you're now remanded to the custody of the Sheriff of Sacramento to be delivered to the custody of Director of Corrections and Rehabilitation to serve the remainder of your life in state prison. We are adjourned.
Wow. That is what justice amounts to after 40 years. You can hear they're just announcing that the court...
Wow! Well, good. Finally, the barbarian... I didn't see where they said that they were sending him, but hopefully he goes to a hardcore prison in general population. So somebody can blast him up the, you know what, a couple times. And they won't have a Johnson like his. All right, everybody. I think that that is going to be it for me tonight. Get a little stinging sensation in the back of the neck right now. Yeah, it's funny. I was reading a email from Susie during the show, and she said almost exactly the same thing I came up with earlier in the day, but I put it on the show. But she said, "How about this? This is for the first case. He's from Jonesboro. She worked out in a club in Jonesboro. He stalked her, killed her, hit her. He's going to use the excuse if he accidentally killed." Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, so it was like literally almost the exact same thing. See, that just shows you, man, that when you start using critical thinking, there's people out there that come up with reasonable theories. That's right, Stephen Bashirs. He was great. All right, everybody, I gotta get out of here. I'm just making mistakes, all kinds of shit going on. It's hard to think when you got this. That feels like a knife because I'm turning my head to this other screen. It's like this really sharp pain. Thank you, Cairo, early on. Kit Kat, Zozo, Christina Kubacek, Miss Skiss, Liz Parsons, Billy Boy Blue, Tracy, Demi Ray, Carolina T, Michelle Nicholas, Crystal Ann, Allison R, Kristen Cure, Christy Paradis, Zozo, Miss Skiss, Dadio Gasmos Rock, KNS, Chrissy Paradis, Kit Kat, Jessica Schubach, Linda Howell, Sarita, Kit Kat, Billy Boy Blue, Dadio Caspi Norse's Rock, Melissa Crone, Carlo, Elaine Tolling, Lay Dobby, Dre 562, Allison R, Swerves, Cairo, Sarita, Billy Boy Blue, and Juju Positive. And then also Jenny Penny earlier on PayPal. Thank you very much. As she was driving through Colorado. All right, everybody. Thank you guys all for showing up tonight. It was, kind of a longer show. I think. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I gotta go lay down now.
Throwing kisses. Thank you for being so dedicated to us. Been a great time as a Patreon supporter and member.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I know I don't say thank you to the Patreon people enough, or as much as I should, but I really appreciate your support there. So, there you go, everybody. I am going to get out of here.
Rip to the late, great Stephen Dog and Beshes.
That's right. Okay, so we try to come back on tomorrow, see if we get some updates.
Thank you for going through this with us, Gray. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Yeah, and I've got some, well, this is where Jenny Penny types in the whole thing. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Yeah, so I'm going to, there were some cold cases that I looked up the documents on and everything. So maybe we'll try to do some of those tomorrow. Those look like little butts there, Christina. Those look like little butts. Okay, so everybody, make sure that you're wearing your masks out there, washing your hands, doing your social distancing. Okay? There you go. I'm gonna take a steroid tablet in a minute, and I just took a 600 milligram ibuprofen, so maybe that'll work. All right, well that's it, everybody. And you know, let me see, get me back on here. I don't know if I could even show it to you, but it's this little tiny. I don't know if you can see it from the side, maybe. You can't really. Well, ooh, shit, looks like it. See, it's. Ooh, I gotta go get another one. It's kind of coming off. Shoot. Darn it. Alright, so that's it, everybody. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, a projector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old baby Jector. Crime sector, here's my nectar. Professor Gregor's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, connector, and I'm a weirdo, a protector, fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his spectre with no respect, y'all. Just remember I've a temper for conjecture. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody? Talk to you.
Wow, that was so interesting. What a great show that was. Man, I mean, it was really neat to see DiMaggio dancing around on the tables and everything, and in the other case before the...
Wow! Slow down a little bit there. You sound like an auctioneer.
Oh, yeah?
Oh my God, would you stop? I was just using that as an example. Okay, good night, Mary Lou, for God's sakes.
Good night, John. My God, I was just doing what you told me to do. You're so mean.
I give up, man. Those people are never going to be able to get off the show. There's not a chance, okay? All right, everybody. See you tomorrow. Be safe out there. Hey, hey, hey.